Want to know the secret skill that really outshines IQ and can transform the way you lead, connect, and succeed in business? Emotional intelligence isn't just a buzzword, it's really your competitive edge. Stick around because what we're about to unpack, I think, could completely change the game for you and your business. So, guys, if this is your first time tuning in, I'm Jarod Lehn, founder of Socialtopia, and this is Fit for Business, episode 58. Now, today's topic is one I've been fired up to talk about for weeks. I spoke about it in, maybe like episode 51, 52. I thought it was a great, I thought it was a great topic to come back to. It's a game changer for, in my opinion, how you lead, how you communicate, and overall, how we think about and tackle success. And what we're talking about here is emotional intelligence, or EQ, right? If we've all heard of EQ, there's IQ, EQ, and how EQ can turn good leaders into great ones. So, whether you're running a business, you're managing a team, building relationships with clients, mastering emotional intelligence can really set you apart from the pack, right? Why does emotional intelligence matter, right? Why is it important? Here's the thing. A lot of people overlook emotional intelligence because they think it's a soft skill. But that's a mistake, right? It's not just about being nice or managing emotions. Emotional intelligence is all about understanding yourself and others at an emotional level so you can make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and create a true impact. So let's take a step back. Let's think about this. What am I talking about? When was the last time a business problem was purely technical? Most of the time, again, it's about the people, conflicts between teams, members of the team, understanding what a client really wants, navigating office politics, if that exists where you're at. All of those require EQ, emotional intelligence. And here's the kicker. Your EQ can have a bigger impact on your success than your IQ. And what I've learned in my life, and I will admit it, also impacts your personal relationships as well, your emotional intelligence, how you're able to cope with your emotions. Why? Because all of these relationships thrive on this EQ, and relationships thrive, all of them, on your emotional connection, right? So the core of emotional intelligence, I want to break that down for you guys. Emotional intelligence really boils down to four key components. And the better you get at each of these, the stronger your emotional game becomes. So let's break that down, right? And the first one, it's self-awareness. This is where it all starts to learn how to recognize your own emotions and how those influence your behavior and others people's behaviors around you, right? And this all pertains to myself too. For example, we all get stressed out. When we're stressed, do you become short-tempered? Yes, I will admit it. Distracted, all of the above. Being aware of those patterns really sets a tone to put you in control and in the driver's seat, right? Self-regulation, number two. Once you're aware of how to tackle these and manage these emotions, the next step is really learning, again, to manage them and how to redirect them. Picture this. Your team botches a big client presentation. Self-regulation is what stops you from snapping at them out of frustration. Listen, before working for my company, I've worked with small to medium to large size entities, and I've seen upper management leader executives snap. And I always thought to myself, holy shit, I would never speak like that to one of my team members at all. Like, that's just not something you would do. Yes, you might get frustrated. Yes, you might have doubts and lingering things. People fuck shit up. They drop the ball. But even then, with my emotional EQ the way it was, I knew that you couldn't speak to people in the business world like that. And I've had clients rip us a new asshole. And you have to take a step back and not be combative, right? So instead, what I say is you can really focus on guiding your team to finding solutions and hopefully learn from the experience. This one's really hard for me. I've learned to implement this into my everyday EQ, empathy, right? It's really your ability to connect with others emotionally. This is huge, I think, for leadership. When your team feels heard and understood, ideally they perform better. When your clients get to know you, get them, they stick around, right? As long as you're performing too, right? The two and two go hand in hand. Social skills, number 4. This is really where you're able to communicate and collaborate to drive results, whether it's resolving conflicts, negotiating deals, or inspiring your team, right? That's what it's all about. Strong social skills can take you a step further. Real life impact of emotional intelligence is where when you start applying your EQ in your life, you should be able to notice some changes, like small changes along the way, and then big changes that kind of have a snowball effect, right? For me, emotional intelligence has transformed the way I lead the team here at Socialtopia, and ideally the way I approach client relationships, essentially 1,000%. Instead of reacting emotionally, I've learned to, take tough situations. I've learned to pause, assess, and respond thoughtfully. Take this example. Here we go. Another example. Prime time. Early in my career, I had a client who was constantly unhappy, no matter how well we executed their campaigns. My initial reaction was frustration. I was young, wet behind ears. But then I learned and leaned into empathy. I realized that what they really needed was reassurance and open communication. Once I started validating their concerns and created a clearer feedback loop, the relationship turned around significantly. That's the power of EQ. So here are some tips for building your emotional intelligence. EQ isn't something you're born with. That's IQ, right? It's a skill that you can develop, right? Like a sales skill, a skill like selling, learning how to sell, learning how to market better, learning how to be a baseball player, a basketball player, a better softball player. These are all things you can develop. You may not be born with those skill sets. But here, let me break down a few practical strategies to help build your emotional intelligence starting right now, today, right? Number 1, pause before reacting, right? Whenever emotion flares up, whether it's excitement, anger, or frustration, pause and sit with it for a moment. Ask yourself this: is this emotion helping me make a good decision? That one pause can make the difference. Actively listen. Too many of us, including myself, listen to respond, not to understand. Try listening without jumping right in a way to fix things or give advice. A simple tell me more goes a long way. Here's another one. 3. Journal. If this is something you want to try and journaling your triggers. Start jotting down moments or in your notes on your phone when you feel strong emotions and reflect on what caused them, right? Over time, you'll spot patterns, right? And learn how to handle those similar situations better next time around. This is always harder for me. Constructive criticism, or number 4, seeking feedback, right? Ask your family, ask your team, people close to you, how do you handle stress or conflict? Be open to what they say, and it's an opportunity to grow, right? 5, something I'm always learning to deal with and get better with. Hopefully I'm getting better. I try. Practicing empathy. When dealing with a tough situation, try putting yourself in those other people's shoes, right? What's the driving behavior? What do they need to feel supported or understood? Right? Why does EQ matter for your well-being? Right? One last thing I really want to talk about before we wrap up. Emotional intelligence isn't just good for your business, right? It's good for your critical mental health. When you're not in tune with your emotions, it's really easy to internalize stress, frustration, or even resentment, right? Over time, what's that do? That leads to burnout, guys. I've been there. Burnout sucks so bad. Maybe you're feeling that right now. But when you have a better time and a better handle to learn how to master your emotions, It's really like cleaning out your mental clutter. You learn to focus on what you control, what you can release, and what you can't. And then you maintain a healthy balance, right? So again, for me, practicing emotional regulation, I think, has been a game changer. Not just at work, but even in my personal life, it's getting better. I see it happen. And I know when I'm not doing it well because things behind the scenes are going on, right? I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be perfect. I make mistakes like every human. And it's when you can man up to those mistakes. Because if you try to sweep it under the rug or put it under the blanket, however you want to preface it, things are going to go sideways, right? To sum it up, emotional intelligence isn't just a skill. It's really a superpower. Think about it. When you're able to understand and manage your emotions, both yours and others, you're really going to be able to lead more effectively, build these stronger connections, stay more resilient in the face of challenges. So guys, hopefully this topic struck a chord with you. If it did, I challenge you, right, to take one small step to improve your EQ. Maybe it's pausing to reflect, practicing active listening, or just having an honest conversation with yourself or a loved one about what's been triggering your emotions lately. So guys, real quickly, too, a quick reminder. If you're listening to this on Spotify right now, please do us a favor and go ahead and hit that follow button. And if you're catching this on YouTube, go ahead and smash that subscribe button for more business and motivation every week. As always, thanks for tuning in, right? This was episode 58 of The Fit for Business with me, Jarod Lehn. Until next time, here's to building your success and while keeping your overall EQ and your balance. I know you got this. We got this. Let's do it. And then if you want to learn more about our agency, Socialtopia, feel free to check us out, www.socialtopiahq.com. That was www.socialtopiahq.com. See you next week.